I turned it on, and now I want to make sure that it is on. Good morning, good morning. I think there's sound. Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. The chair and the music stand, I think, is a great combination. And I had only thought of the chair, so I'm grateful to Lorianne for bringing the stand over. That's good. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem. If you're still coming in, feel free to come on in, choose whatever seat looks comfortable. If you're joining us online, I hope your seat where you are is comfortable. We are so glad that you are here in the sanctuary and online, because we know that each time we gather, we choose to create and to recreate this community. I am the Reverend Monica Jacobson. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve this congregation as minister. Leading worship with me today are Ariane Kirkpatrick as our celebrant, Jason Holt shadowing as the celebrant in training, Rhonda Holt is our Lifeline's lay minister, Carrie Lynn Patterson is going to tell our story today. Grace Curran and Lorianne Schmidt will be offering music. Sarah Pickett is at the tech table, and Doc Hadley made our slides. These hands and contributions and many more went into creating this gathering today. We gather today, as we always gather, as a community of seekers. Each and every one of us carrying questions and searching for wisdom and inspiration to help us live lives of meaning. And boy, after the last week in the world, if you have come carrying questions and seeking wisdom and inspiration, you are in the right place. And I think we understand that experience. We gather today coming in from all the stresses of the world. We know we come bringing our concerns and our fears and our righteous anger. We also come in with awareness of so much that is troubling, that is unjust and wrong. And that may stir in us many kinds of anxieties or despair or rage. We have room here for all that. We gather today also coming in with the joys of our lives, buoyed up by celebrations and the beauties of the world, for the world is still beautiful each and every day. These blessings, these gratitudes that we carry with us, we bring them in knowing that their truth and their power is undimmed even by all that is hard in the world. So whatever you come carrying today, whatever thoughts and feelings are much with you, know that we have space for them here. At any time, here in the sanctuary or wherever you are, if you notice that it would help you, I invite you to do this simple practice. You can gaze around a little bit. You can choose to breathe deeply. And you can remind yourself that you are here in this gathering, that you are welcome, that you are among a community of care and support. You can literally gaze around, because neuroscientists tell us that the vagus nerve that runs down the back of the body responds to whether we feel safe or unsafe. And if you actually pivot, like from the waist, you are reassuring your parasympathetic nervous system that you really have looked around and you really are okay. It's a nice life hack. If at any time during the service I see you doing this, I will think, great! That advice helped somebody today. Know that you are welcome here, as always, exactly as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identities, and in every way, you are still becoming the person you will be. So let us take one good deep breath together. Feel the air come in, feel it go out. One more moment to remember, you are here in this time, in this place. So come, let us worship together. Please rise in body, in voice, or in spirit for our gathering hymn. It's number 58, Ring Out Wild Bells. It's probably new, but don't worry, Grace is going to lead us. Ring out wild bells to the wide, wide sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out wild bells and let it die. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells of Turns out that Tennyson was onto some things.
This community works to find light in the darkness, love in the heart, and a place of peace. Please join me as we recite our affirmation together. Words are projected here, or you'll find them in the
Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world.
Our chalice lightings today is from the Unitarian Universalist Association website and was written and published by our own Craig Rowland. We light these chalices for the ones who arrive disheveled, carrying questions, contradictions, grief half-healed, and dreams still raw. You deserve a place that welcomes your becoming, that knows your fire is not too much, your silence not too little. A place that sees your shadows and still reaches for your light. You deserve a community that listens when you speak your truth, that sits with you in turmoil and rises with you in joy, that believes in your voice even when it trembles. You deserve a circle that brings you hope and coffee and poetry, a place to rest, a place to rise. Let these flames be that place, not perfect, but possible, not without cracks, but full of light. Welcome home.
In addition to the chalice for this congregation, the chalice for our partner congregation in Szymon-Falva, Transylvania, and the lantern for our children and youth, I also will light a memorial candle today. This candle is for Marge French, a longtime UUCS member who passed away on Wednesday, January 7th. In her final days, she was visited by many friends, and she had her daughter and son-in-law with her. Marge was 102 years old. 102 and a half, I believe. When we have information about a memorial service, we will share it with you. Today, we light this candle in gratitude for the life we shared with Marge. Please join in singing our flames into life. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Hey, I think it works. Actually, I don't need to be up here. It's good to see everybody here. Can the kids or anybody young at heart like to join me up here? I'm going to read a story, but real quick, I want to say I was really lucky to go visit Marge before she died. And most people that know me know I talk a lot. And we mentioned something about that, and then I stopped to listen to her. And then she goes, "Why aren't you talking?" That was really special. I've known her over 50 years, and she's a special person. I just wanted to say that real quick. Look at all the kids we have today. I'm so excited. We have good activities. I'm going to read you a story, and then we're going to head back. The Parable of the River. One day, as a villager began his early morning stroll, he noticed that once vibrant river looked slightly murkier than usual, and contained some sludge and pollution resting on the banks. The villagers quickly went out of their way to clear the pollution and restore the flow. He thought all was well. But the next day, the same villager noticed 2 lifeless fish in the river. He scooped them out of the waters and, again, thought all was well. But the following day, debris started to build up, and the river's flow became constricted. That means it was a little smaller, cutting off water to the village. Naturally, the villagers organized quickly, setting up watchtowers and training teams of swimmers and environmentalists to withstand the swift waters and clear the debris. Cleanup squads soon worked 24 hours a day to keep up with the increase in pollution. And while not all the debris and fish could be removed from the river, the villages felt they were doing as well as they could. Indeed, the village priest even blessed them in their work, and life in the village continued on the basis for many months. One day, however, a young girl was playing by the riverside and saw the pollution. She looked off in the distance and then turned to her grandfather, asking, where is all the waste coming from? Her grandfather shrugged his shoulders and said, upriver somewhere, I guess. The little girl responded, well, let's organize a team and head upstream and find out who's throwing all their trash into the river in the first place. They brought the idea to the village elders, but they countered, saying things like, but if we were to go upstream, who would take care of the rescue operation? And we need every concerned person here, and don't be ridiculous, it's too hard to travel upstream. The girl cried, but you don't see, if we find out who's polluting the river, we can stop the problem. With no fish, we'll die. The elders responded by saying, it is far too risky, and we need all the help there. And so the number of fish found floating in the river continued. Several days later, the young girl decided to go upstream herself to find the source of the corruption. Upstream, she found a mountain of plastic from the building of a nearby village that was releasing chemicals into the once beautiful river and blocking up the waterways. The girl smiled to herself and began to remove as much as she could. And as she dealt with the source of the pollution upstream, the river downstream returned to normal. Much to the joy of the villagers, who began to think to themselves, maybe we should go upstream too. What I love about this story is how it reminds us how important it is to ask questions and look for the causes of injustice. It's not enough to clean up the harm after it happens. We need to stop it in the first place. Thank you. And kiddos, we're going to head back to the back. So we're going to do, if everyone could help us with the love arch. Thank you.
Wherever you walk, walk in love. Wherever you walk, walk in peace. Wherever you walk, walk in beauty all around you. Our hearts go with you. Wherever you walk, walk in love. Wherever you walk, walk in peace. Wherever you walk, walk in beauty all around you. Our hearts go with you.
There is a line from the song Hope by Jacobson from back in, I think it was 2008, almost 20 years ago. It goes like this: you don't always have to hold your head higher than your heart. That sentiment resonates with me in very meaningful ways. I was raised in the 1950s when parenting was something done to kids, just like their parents and their grandparents before them, with a stern hand to the bottom, no back talk, no deep conversations. Children were to be seen and not heard. Children were more like possessions to flaunt, to be well-controlled, well-mannered, or you were a failure as a parent. The 1970s, when I began my parenting journey, saw a shift in how society treated children. There's an even better understanding of how we as humans grow from childhood today, but it is all based on knowledge, with a bit of heart sprinkled in here and there. We are still programmed from childhood to value the head, our thoughts, our knowledge, over the heart. And as a result, we often place our hearts below our heads in a sort of inner hierarchy. Most of the time, we aren't even conscious of this. Most parents today understand how children grow and learn much better than my parents ever could or would. Yet we measure our success by what we know rather than how it feels. There's still a tendency to think with our heads and not our hearts. This means that we tend to listen and respond from the neck up, often leaving the rest of our bodies with little or no say in most matters. This is a physical habit which sometimes feels as ingrained as the way we breathe or walk. Now you may be thinking, what is she talking about? The heart is this organ vital for life that keeps our blood circulating. Yes, the physical heart is lower than the head and feeds the head, the brain, with the important nutrients it needs to keep functioning. The brain has a masterful way of imposing structure and order on the world, creating divisions and categories and devising plans and strategies. In many ways, we have our brains to thank for our survival on this planet. But that's not the heart I'm talking about. I'm talking about the feeling, caring, loving, moody, emotional heart. For most people, it isn't easy to turn down the volume of thoughts, the logic, the reasoning that is in our heads, and just listen to how we feel. If the heart can speak a little louder than the head, the direction and the work we do may have decidedly different outcomes. It takes effort and awareness to shift the energy into our hearts, listening and responding from this much deeper, more resonant place. We need the wisdom of our hearts if we wish to continue surviving in a viable way. When we listen from our heart, the logical grid of the brain tends to soften and melt a little, which allows us, enables us to perceive the interconnectedness beneath the divisions and categories we use to organize the world. We begin to understand that just as the heart underlies the brain, this interconnectedness underlies everything. I try to hold my heart higher than my head as often as possible. I'm not always successful. Sometimes they're on the same level, and sometimes the head wins out. But the shift I have taken to allow my heart to think first, to give my feelings validity, means that I could be a better parent, and I know that I'm a better grandparent than mine ever were. Now, you may not have children or grandchildren, and perhaps you never will, but you have people in your life, people who need you and love you and care about you, relationships. So remember, you don't always have to hold your head higher than your heart.
Thank you, Ariana. This year, we have a little bit of a recurring theme song. It goes with the idea that there are many ways people can work for social change, for justice, and for a better world. If you look in your order of service or up on the slide, you'll see the lyrics to this little song, When the World is Sick. If you happen to have been here on a previous Sunday when we sang it, I hope you will help me to sing it now. And if it's new to you, go ahead and listen, take it in. You can hum, you can sway your body, you can join in, whatever is right for you. It's a very simple little refrain with an important reminder about the power of continuing, perhaps to let our hearts do some of the visioning of the world we want to live in. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. Add harmony if you'd like. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. 2 more times. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. I wish you all could hear yourselves the way I get to hear you up here. The harmonies are so rich and they are beautiful and strong. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Rhonda Holt. I'm one of your Lifeline's lay ministers. Lifeline's lay ministers are members of this congregation who are here to help people in times of need. We can be identified by our lavender stoles and name badges. You can reach out to us by visiting our table in Hanneman Hall after the service each Sunday, or by using the contact information on the back of the order of service. Each week when we gather for worship, we share the joys and sorrows of members of this community. We know that joy shared may be magnified, and sorrow shared may be lightened even a little. As I read them, we'll light a candle to symbolize the truth that is shared and to remind us that what we hold together brings more of the light of understanding and compassion to us all. We have 4 sorrows today. The first is from Megan S. and Nate G. Last Friday, we said goodbye to our dog, Heina. She was 17 years old and had been with us through so many seasons of life. She had the softest fur, was ever vigilant for crumbs, and will be remembered as the wiliest. She is sorely missed. Barbara Stebbins Boaz writes, please think healing thoughts for my stepson, Chris Muir, as he recovers from a heart attack that feels much better once the blockage was cleared and a stent put in place. Much gratitude to the medical team at Salem Hospital. Next, Megan Dovan Lully writes, I'd like to be taken seriously in real life by everyone and everything, everywhere. Thanks. And the last is from Lenny Smith. We mourn the loss of Bobby Weir, a member of the Grateful Dead and many other musical pursuits. Fare thee well, Bobby, as you leave this mortal plane. And we light one final candle to remind us of the joys and sorrows carried in the community, which remain unspoken in our hearts.
It has been a challenging week in the world. And challenging weeks often call for pivots to ensure that our worship life as a congregation helps to ground us and hold us in the midst of all that is happening. And so, with apologies to Jan Richardson, whose name and poem title are printed in your order of service, I am making a pivot this morning. In hard times like these, I often do what many of us do and reach out to friends and colleagues who I know to be wise and compassionate people. For this morning, I have brought the words of my friend and colleague, the Reverend Dr. Elizabeth Stevens, who serves our congregation in Moscow, Idaho, and who generously shared this meditation she wrote for her congregation today. If it feels good in your body, will you breathe with me for a moment? And if that doesn't feel good, feel free to find something else that does. You can shake out your hands. You can rock back and forth a little. You can do whatever else works for you to move at least a little bit closer to a sense of safety or ease or relaxation. We humans like to imagine a great battle between good and evil, with the good guys on our side, of course, and the bad guys over there somewhere. But the truth is, those are the wrong categories. Really, the battle is between love and fear. And it's not just being fought out in the world. It is playing out in every one of our hearts. We know when we are listening to love. It feels good and right and solid in ways that listening to social media does not. So as we share a moment of quiet, of contemplation, of knowing that we are a community of solidarity and care, let us each reconnect to our own center of love. Let the connection feel tangible and strong. We need that still small voice to be the one issuing our marching orders. Sometimes love asks for acts of great courage. Sometimes it asks for generosity and even sacrifice. And sometimes it asks for rest, for self-compassion. It invites us to turn toward beauty, toward joy, and even sometimes toward silliness. Love knows when we need the kinds of nurturing practices that restore us to wholeness. And it also knows that when courage and sacrifice are needed, we won't be able to answer the call if we are not whole. Love reminds us over and over again that we cannot answer these calls alone. So let us remember that we are part of a community within these walls and beyond them. In every part of the world, people of goodwill are listening to love and responding to love's call. In Minneapolis, in Portland, in Venezuela, people are listening to love's call. They are responding and doing what needs to be done. Let us send them strength and courage through the web of relationships that connects us all. And finally, let us breathe to center ourselves in the here and now. We will know what to do, and we will know when to do it. May we put our trust in our connection to the source of love, to our care for one another, and in the great love that holds and guides us always. Let us breathe together for a few moments. As you bring your awareness back into this gathering, and while you remain seated, I'm going to invite you to join in singing the words and the wisdom of a Unitarian Universalist elder, Carolyn McDade, who wrote the beautiful hymn, Spirit of Life, also about remaining connected to the source of love as we show up to do love's work in the world. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
This is Imagine the Angels of Bread by Martin Espada. This is the year that squatters evict landlords, gazing like admirals from the rail of the roof deck or levitating hands in praise of steam in the shower. This is the year that shawled refugees deport judges who stare at the floor and their swollen feet as files are stamped with their destination. This is the year that police revolvers Stove hot blister the fingers of raging cops, and nightsticks splinter in their palms. This is the year that dark-skinned men lynched a century ago return to sip coffee quietly with the apologizing descendants of their executioners. This is the year that those who swim the border's undertow and shiver in boxcars are greeted with trumpets and drums at the first railroad crossing on the other side. This is the year that the hands pulling tomatoes from the vine uproot the deed to the earth that sprouts the vine. The hands canning tomatoes are named in the will that owns the bedlam of the cannery. This is the year that the eyes, stinging from the poison that purifies toilets, awaken at last to the sight of a rooster-loud hillside, pilgrimage of immigrant birth. This is the year that cockroaches become extinct, that no doctor finds a roach embedded in the ear of an infant. This is the year that the food stamps of adolescent mothers are auctioned like gold doubloons, and no coin is given to buy machetes for the next bouquet of severed heads in coffee plantation country. If the abolition of slave manacles began as a vision of hands without manacles, then this is the year. If the shutdown of extermination camps began as imagination of a land without barbed wire or the crematorium, then this is the year. If every rebellion begins with the idea that conquerors on horseback are not many-legged gods, that they too drown if plunged in the river, then this is the year. So may every humiliated mouth, teeth like desecrated headstones, fill with the angels of bread.
That poem is a whole sermon unto itself. Every January, I try to find a reason for a reading of that poem. And I learned recently that the Reverend Ashley Horan, who is our UUA Vice President for Programs and Ministries, does the same. She shared it on Facebook with the description that our ability to imagine other realities is our fiercest spiritual weapon. Last week, when we gathered, we talked some about the importance of creativity and beauty. We talked about the power of creativity and the way that it lets us open up possibilities. This week, we see some of that in poetry, and we will see in music and in many other ways how this creative imagination is part of what guides us toward the better world we know is possible, even when it feels very far from us. Creativity is a force that can resist oppression and harm, one that is disruptive in a useful way. The common read for this year, the social change ecosystem, lays out 10 different roles that people can play, and one of those roles is the role of disruptor, defined this way. Disruptors, we take uncomfortable and risky action to shake up the status quo, to raise awareness, and to build power. And I think, based on this poem, we could describe Martín Espada as a disruptor, no? I want to pause real quick to say that beautifully the sun has come out, but I think our gorgeous stained glass is disrupting the worship experience for folks over here. If anybody wants to get up and move, there are seats on the shaded side of the sanctuary. It's totally fine to relocate if you would like. Today we gather just past Epiphany in the Christian liturgical year, the season that is really sort of the end of the Christmas story. Often in popular culture, it all gets folded in together. People don't usually wait to sing We Three Kings until 12 days after Christmas. But technically, We Three Kings is an Epiphany hymn. It marks the day in the legend that the wise people arrived in Bethlehem and found the baby Jesus there under the star that they had followed. The biblical story goes like this. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and we have come to worship him." When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem therefore was troubled with him. And when he had gathered together the chief priests and the scribes of all the people, he inquired of them, where was this special baby to be born? Maybe feeling a little threatened? I'm just editorializing here. And the wise people said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, but you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people, Israel." And then Herod, he secretly called the wise men, and he determined from them what time the star had appeared. And he sent them on to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search carefully for the young child, and when you have found him, bring back word to me, so I may worship him also." When they heard the king, the wise people departed, and behold, the star they had seen in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. They went into the house. They saw the young child with Mary, his mother. They fell down and worshiped him. They gave him treasures and gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And then, being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed for their own country by another way. In other words, these wise people had enough insight not to fall for Herod's disingenuous claim that he just wants to worship this child too. Now, this story has been added to and ornamented and interpreted a lot over the years. Last month, National Geographic ran an article about the story of the wise people, in which they pointed out that, quote, most of the details now associated with the Magi or the wise people developed gradually over the centuries. The number of Magi varied by region. Only 2 Magi appear in the earliest image of them, while 4 are depicted in a 3rd century fresco, and 12 are mentioned in the 13th century Syriac texts. The number was set at 3 in the Western Church in the 6th century, both because 3 gifts are mentioned in Matthew, and because the triadic pattern fit well with the developing Christian emphasis on the Trinity and symbolic numbers. Similarly, the names of the Magi, their identification as kings, and their travel with camels are details that were interpolated later. Still, this article concludes, the Magi remain compelling because they are seekers. I didn't write it, National Geographic did. In Matthew's sparse narrative, they observe a sign in the sky, they interpret it, and they set out toward a distant land in search of meaning. In later traditions, they become kings, sages, mystics, missionaries, and even visionaries who encounter divine light in ways beyond ordinary human experience. In these times, when we don't have a form of justice-making disruption shining out obviously in the night sky, what does this story offer us? It still offers us an important metaphor about the courage to undertake the journey toward the promise of a better world. The courage to be on the journey itself can become part of what sustains us, even and perhaps especially when we don't know if we will be the ones to actually live in the better world we are journeying toward and working to create. This time, this season, Epiphany, is a time for following a vision of a community that cares for and values everyone. It is a time for dreaming of the end to injustice. Following the star of possibility, even if tired and cynical people are busy predicting that you will never get there, is the invitation of this season. And wow, there are a lot of reasons to be tired, cynical, spiritually overwhelmed, or exhausted. There are acts of war in Venezuela, and there are ICE officers shooting and sometimes killing people. If this is heavy on you, you are not alone. If you struggle with daily reports of injustice, corruption, evasion, and outright lies, you are not alone. If your heart is heavy, or if your anger rises high, or if it is just plain hard to sleep these days, you are not alone. Now, regardless of how many wise people travel in each version of the story, the one thing that is consistent is we never hear of them traveling alone. All the stories of people noticing signs and wonders, interpreting signals around them, undertaking a journey toward the possibility of positive change, they always find each other on the way. And guess what? You're here. You are not traveling alone. Do you remember the TV show The West Wing? Just by a quick show of hands. Okay, great. This is going to help because you're going to hear John Spencer's voice in your head in a moment. So the TV show The West Wing was on in the 90s and the early 2000s. It was about the staff of a fictional presidential administration. They solved problems and faced difficulties and had witty banter and supported each other. And there's an episode where Josh, the deputy chief of staff, has just been diagnosed with PTSD. He's really been struggling with his mental health, and now he is afraid he's going to lose this job that he loves so much. His boss and mentor, Leo, played by John Spencer, who is the chief of staff, comes to check in on him, and he listens to Josh say, "I'm really struggling. I don't know what's going to happen." And Leo, who is a recovering alcoholic, says this to him: "This guy's walking down the street when he falls in a hole. The walls are so steep he can't get out. A doctor passes by and the guy shouts up, 'Hey you, can you help me out?' Well, the doctor writes a prescription, throws it down in the hole, and moves on. But then a priest comes along, and the guy says, 'Father, I'm down in this hole. Can you help me out?' Well, the priest writes out a prayer, and he throws it down in the hole. And he moves on. Well, then the guy's friend walks by. 'Hey, Joe, it's me. I'm down here. Can you help me out?' And the friend jumps in the hole. Our guy says, 'Are you stupid? Now we're both down here.' And the friend says, 'Yeah, but I've been down here before, and I know the way out.' This is a story about saying to each other, I know something about struggle, about fear, about worrying that the thing you are facing is going to be the end of everything you care about, the end of everything you hope for, and I will not leave you alone with all that. I think what we need from each other in these times is first and foremost not to be alone. To connect, to witness each other's concerns, anger, grief, and to connect with each other as people of goodwill and with all the ancestors in every time and every place who have recognized that oppression, exclusion, arbitrary violence, deception, and greed are wrong. We are not the first generation to be down in this hole. We have each other, and we have the stories, the wisdom, the inspiration of generations of ancestors. We have those who have been down here before, and they know the way out. So this year, in addition to learning from the creative disruption of poetry and art, let us also learn from the stories and the examples we may find in our own country's history. Those who have worked for gay and lesbian rights movements, Black leaders who worked for centuries, including the civil rights movement of the 20th century, Latino farm worker organizers, trans activists, labor and union organizers, suffragettes, centuries of indigenous leaders, Americans with disabilities who, when necessary, crawled up the steps of the nation's capital, and many, many more, including all those who acted as allies, who knew that all of our thriving is bound up together. In the Latin American tradition, let us invoke all those ancestors who are no longer living, but yet are with us. Let us say, in that tradition, presente, presente, to acknowledge all who are still with us in spirit, who are still part of the struggle. And as for the Magi, those wise people of Epiphany, well, in the words of a pithy social media post by Presbyterian theologian Serene Jones, civil disobedience lies at the heart of the Epiphany story. The Magi receive an unjust order from a vindictive tyrant. Instead, they defy him. May we do likewise. Let us keep on together. As Arianen comes up to introduce our offering, I just want to note another pivot in the order of service. Instead of a closing hymn, we're actually going to have a song as offertory. It is the song with the lyrics you'll find on your insert sheet. There are some beautiful images. You're welcome to just take it in. You're also welcome to start singing, whatever you're moved to do when that video begins to play.
This community, this congregation is sustained by me and every one of you. Your breath, your every heartbeat gives this place life. This life is for all of us. You and I grow this place with our love, with our gifts, with our time, and with our pledges. We are a thriving community. And as a community, we work together to give back. We give to those who need food through our donations to the Marion Polk food banks and placing things in our little red wagon. We give back by supporting those community projects and events that help those around us in our neighborhoods and in our cities. One such program is Family Promise. which works with low-income and houseless families to help them secure a place to call home. This month, we share the plate with them with this important program, as well as sponsoring families throughout the year when it's our turn. And when it's our turn, I know that many of you will step up to give those families care and support. And this month, you can share the plate by offering donations to them. I also know that deep in my heart, that you, each of you, gives from your heart, and all that you give is gratefully, thankfully accepted, and you are honored for all that you do. Thank you. And as the social justice lantern is brought forward, we are reminded of the heavy work that will come, of the burdens we must carry to bring justice, and we spark the light with the flame from our congregational chalice to bring a little more light into this world and to inspire the work that must be done. The winds of change are blowing, and the light of justice will not be extinguished. As we release the flames from our chalices, remember that the light of love shines on. Change is coming, and truth, trust, love, and justice will become beacons once again. remember the glow of change as we roll up our sleeves and pull on our boots and join hands and hearts to get the work done for change to happen. Let it be so.
I think my microphone is off, so I'm going to use this one. So a couple quick announcements for you. Today, following the service, Lifeline's Lay Ministry has arranged an estate planning and end-of-life legal documents workshop. If you're interested in learning about wills, bequests, advanced directives, those sorts of things, please gather in here at noon. That will be a 1-hour presentation. At 1 o'clock, anyone who is still having that conversation will move to a different location because we'll begin setting up for the benefit concert that will take place here at 2. That is a fundraiser. I believe it's a concert and a silent auction, and all the proceeds go to support families who have been impacted by ICE activity. I just found out that we finally have a painting date for our foyer. So if you're going to be in the building Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, please know there will be painting happening in there. And if you're available this Sunday after the service to help take art off the walls, or next Sunday after the service to help put art back on the walls, you can contact Susan Ferris-Gosser about that. And coming up at the end of the month, we will have a memorial service for Lorna Youngs, a longtime UUCS member who passed away in October. That will be Saturday, January 24th. The following day, Sunday, January 25th, in addition to all of our congregational activities, we are hosting a Know Your Rights and Human Rights Observer training put on by the American Friends Service Committee. So that is a place to get some concrete information and skills for responding to ICE activity in ways that are legal, safe, helpful, etc. That'll start at 2 o'clock that Sunday. So there's always lots going on. There's a parents' night out coming up at the end of the month. There are announcements on the back of your order of service. We're a delightfully busy congregation. I would like to try to sing the hymn that we couldn't play, so I'm going to lead it for you a cappella to the best of my ability. I invite you to grab those inserts. Try to sing if you can. If you don't, that's okay. I'll just sing to you. Sarah, is it possible to get my head mic turned back on? Do I have sound now? I do. Beautiful. All right, please rise in body, in voice, in spirit. Sing, sway, hum, nod, whatever is good for you. And if you know Stan Rogers, if you're a Canadian folk music nerd like me, you can try to sing this to the tune of Northwest Passage, which is the tune it's set to. If that didn't make any sense to you, don't worry about it. Spirit, take us home by another way. Take us long way round the tyrants and their schemes. Give us strength to walk, show us dreams of a better day, and we'll pave the way with justice, going home by another way. The mountains and the hills made low, the rough places made plain, the despots thrown down from their thrones till only love remains. Spirit, take us home by another way. Take us long way round the tyrants and their schemes. Give us strength to walk, show us dreams of a better day, and we'll pave the way with justice, going home by another way. No offerings for billionaires to make them richer still. Bring all your frankincense and myrrh that the hungry may be filled. Spirit, take us home by another way. Take us long way round the tyrants and their schemes. Give us strength to walk. Show us dreams of a better day, and we'll pave the way with justice, going home by another way. So when the Proud Boys and the Klan ask where the Christ child lies, just tell 'em that you'll let 'em know next time you're passing by. Spirit, take us home by another way. Take us long way round the tyrants and their schemes. Give us strength to walk. Show us dreams of a better day, and we'll pave the way with justice, going home by another way. So when things get tough and feet are tired, we know it'll be okay, 'cause we'll pave the way with justice, going home by another way. Thank you.
And as you remain standing, if you will join me in saying our closing words, they're printed in the order of service, or maybe you know them by heart. You can join hands, you can touch elbows, or simply gesture toward one another, whatever is right for you today. Are you ready?
May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.
Blessed be.
Go in peace.
Perfect. That was great. I love that song. I've never heard it before. It's beautiful. I love it too. So, Jason, you got to see all the things that can happen. All the things. Sometimes the tech cooperates. Okay. I often say everything that happens. But it also
Are you here next week?
way next back on. Actually,
I know you weren't speaking, but I didn't.
no, I can't. Going on. So my daughter is an only child. I was talking to Heather, and then Bobby.
I know that complaint well.
We made it work, so we're gonna go in a couple of days. I might ever. Tigers in my past. That was before kind of practice. Right? But it will warm up. Like right now. Okay. They had this had in and they did